Hi. Yeah, it's so good to see you here. You got here just in time. I was just cleaning up, putting tools away, and I know that's what you love to do, is to put tools away and sweep the floor, you know, pick up cardboard off the floor. Sorry, didn't mean to hit you there. Yeah, so had a big weekend. Got you know, family together in town, 26 brothers and sisters, parents, you know, birthday party, pre-birthday party, post-birthday party, after party, post-party birthday, kind of all weekend. So cranked up Mr. F, you know, showed the family the Cobra, frightened young children, so that was a good thing. And of course, I can't go through a whole weekend without doing a car thing. So my brothers, I have 2 of them and 36 sisters. We replaced the grill. If you remember, a pheasant unlived itself on the front of my Lincoln, the HMS, and cracked the grill. So I bought a different grill for it, replaced kind of the chrome teeth with black teeth, and they helped me put it on. I've never done that before. It's kind of a newer vehicle. I kind of figured, like an older vehicle, you just kind of take 6 screws out and put the new one in, put 6 screws in, maybe pop a couple clips. No, that's not how you do that. That is not on a Lincoln, nope. So, ran a little time lapse. I'll let you see that in a second, but basically you take the whole bumper off. Like the assembly, everything off, you lay it down, then you have to drill out 50 plastic rivets that you can't reuse. So then you got to go to the store and find the same thing so you can put the plastic rivets back in. And then you know that somewhere around here you have a plastic rivet gun for plastic rivets. You're pretty sure you bought one several years ago and haven't used it. And you spend 37.5 minutes looking for it. And then right when you give up, you actually do find it, and it's just like Christmas, and you can finish the project. And then, you know, you can't find the right aluminum rivets, the big ones, to finish the thing, so you drill out the holes and you pop in some Honda plastic removable kind, and they're perfect. So now I have a hybrid Lincoln with a little Honda. Well, a little Honda four-wheeler. Anyway, okay, this is part trace 3, the 3rd part in what I hope is only a 3-part series of Dale, the 1984 Chevrolet C10 that we have yanked the crusty running 305 and put in a shiny, fancy, pretty good horsepower-y 350. And if you remember, we kind of ended last week where I needed to order valve covers because the tall valve covers were not going to let the air conditioner work, and we got to keep the air conditioning. So the short valve covers have come in, so we can put those on and hope that they fit. And then, yeah, a nipple for a vacuum line going to the cruise control, which we also want to keep, broke off because it's brittle and old. So I ordered a new, used cruise control servo where it's not broken. And when that shows up from eBay, we'll put that on. So it was kind of like a forwards backwards episode, and hopefully this is a forwards episode. I also ended where I was putting the radiator in and then realized that the top clamps will not work on the new radiator from the old one. So I still have to figure that out. Haven't done it because guess what? This weekend, I did nothing related to it. So I did a lot of other things with people I'm related to. So that was the difference. Anyway, yeah, if you don't mind, maybe grabbing the broom, sweeping this floor for me real quick, and I'll start putting tools away, and then we will jump on Dale and just try to make some progress. You know, take a peek at them out of the fog of the past 3 days. See if I remember where I'm at. So anyway, super glad you're here as usual. Apologize for the 50-minute monologue, but you know what? I just had to remind myself what was going on. So anyway, all right, yeah, I got this. I got it. I'm gonna take this to the garbage, and then we'll see you in a minute. Dropped it. Hey, sorry about the wind. I mean, I'm not sorry, I'm not apologizing for the wind. I didn't make it. It's just happening. It's the weather outside, it's blowing things, and it's a pole barn, so it likes to flex a little bit, you know? Just creak. It's just friendly creaking. It's not gonna come down or anything like that. Yeah. Trying to figure out where I left off last week. I was just looking at these, see these radiator brackets are not going to work for this. So I really don't want to fabricate an aluminum piece. That is very time consuming, or relatively. I don't have a lot of time. I'd really like to buy something to try to minimize the amount of time I'm spending. I have to study on that a bit. But oh yeah, I got the valve covers. Let me grab one. Okay. There you go. Valve covers. These are shorter. So I'm gonna play around with the baffles once I get these off, just to make sure we don't have any clearance issues, or maybe I can make more clearance, you know. You're probably wondering, Eric, why do you have so many brothers and sisters? Well, I don't know. It wasn't my choice, honestly. That sounds like I'm saying if I had had a choice, it would have been different. But no, that's not what I'm saying. I just didn't have a choice. So I guess you can come to your own conclusion. I think my parents just liked having so many children. They enjoyed so many children. That's what they did. So anyway, you can't put that genie back in the box. They're out there wandering around the country doing things. Actually, some of them are doing some pretty impressive things. Most of them. Really all of them. You know, just in case any of them happen to hear this. All of them are doing remarkable things. I am so proud. Whew, man, I almost just walked myself right into a trap. Okay, crisis averted. Let's just hang out a bit, and I'm gonna pull these valve covers, assemble these, try to see what I can see. We got to get some forward motion going, and that includes mounting this and running hoses and getting the brackets and all of that situated. I'm still waiting on the servo for the cruise control, but it should be here shortly. So, of course, that's way back there, and it's super fun to put on, but it might be a little easier once I have these shorter valve covers on too. So I'm gonna get started on that, I think. I'm doing with that. All right, update time. I guess I'll just get right into it. We've got all of the accessories, the belts are tight, the brackets are in. If you remember, I had to trim this bracket here, where on the manifold I had 2 bolts, so I've only got the 1. But I think I'll be okay because I've got bolted there. There's a bracket here with 2 bolts in it. There's this bracket that goes down. If I needed to, there's a provision for a bracket here, and I have a hole here. I could do something to firm it up. We're gonna see how it goes. Everything else was able to be bolted into its factory location. It's mainly this compressor bracket that I'm missing 2 mounting points from the stock to this. So I think it will be okay. But if we need to do more stuff, we'll do more stuff. So what else? Got the AC hooked up, the little bracket here. I'm still waiting on my brackets. Actually, they should show up here today to get this in. I might lengthen this so it doesn't pull this so far. I may put it a little bit longer just to support the AC line. I just use the stock instead of remaking it. That'll be fine. So we don't want to get too far into that. What else? I'm starting to wire up for the electric fans. Got the relay, starting to do that. And yeah, I've got I've got to finish up the vacuum line situation. I've been kind of waiting on the servo for the cruise control to come in, but I may do everything else and just the two that drop into that, just leave them a little extra long, and when that shows up I can do that. I also have to wait on the PCV hookup because this bracket kind of is in the way. So I need to see how to route things. That's why I've left these wires the way they are. I just like to see all the pieces on there. It's kind of like why I didn't run my heater hoses and things yet, because the things that are fixed into place that must be there, that allows me then to work around those. But if I run wires and run hoses before those fixed parts are in, well, they might be in the way. So we kind of wait until it's all in. So I'm going to start probably by hooking up. Yeah, the reason why I started with the fans wiring was because I need to put the lead right here for the sender. And I wanted to do that before I ran heater hoses that kind of would block my ability to get in there. So I'm going to finish that up and then do hoses and get as far as I can with my vacuum hoses. And then if my servo still hasn't shown up, we'll get her up in the air, and I got to put the starter on and then start fabbing the exhaust. So yeah, I just got to start jumping around. If I'm waiting on stuff, I can't afford to just sit still on the project. So that's where we're at. We're getting mighty close, mighty close. It's starting to look like an engine in a truck, and you know, that's what we want to be happening. So the two main things we're waiting on are the clamps for the radiator and the cruise control servo. So once those are in, we'll be golden, I'm pretty sure. Who knows? Who knows if I won't just bump into something else that's wrong, but I think it'll be okay. Anyway, back to whatever you were doing. I'm gonna jump back on this, and we'll bring you in whenever something else weird happens. time to wake up. I know. Okay, let's take two. Taking two. I know most of this stuff is pretty boring. You know, it's all just nitpicky hooking up, you know, wires, cables, vacuum hoses, coolant lines, all of that kind of stuff. But I've gotten to the point now where I need to make a list because it's all the big things are done and now it's just all the little things. So we've got, let's see, we've got to, I'm waiting, the only thing I'm waiting on the fan is the 12-volt switch, which I need to verify when I hook up the battery and turn the key. Let's make sure on that. I've got a couple possibilities. And then I got to loom all of those fan control, radiator fan wires and all of that I did. Waiting on the cruise servo. Yeah, it says it shipped. We'll see if it gets here. I got to hook up these two hoses after that gets in. And then after that, I can, you know, crank the motor, fill the coolant. I've got to charge the AC, of course, with the motor running. So really, while I'm waiting on that stuff, build exhaust is the next thing. Exhaust tips, he hasn't decided on yet. So we're just gonna bring the bare exhaust out to the back and then we can add those later. He did want me to remove the backup camera. If I have time, I will do that. So, yeah, build exhaust. Great. It's one of my favorite things to do. That was sarcasm. Okay, so, what have we got here? Well, just to show you kind of where we're at visually, back here is where I mounted the relay for the fans. I've just got all the wires just kind of hanging here right now. I'll neaten that up and loom them up, but I have to see that the fan's kicking on and everything's working first, so there's no sense in hiding the wires until I verify it's all functional. I've got 3 wires here taped up. Don't know where they go. I don't believe they go anywhere on the current configuration, but possibly I might find a 12-volt switched source there, so that's why they're taped up there. So I got the AC compressor power wire loomed up just to kind of hide it a little bit more since this is such a pretty engine. This kind of uglifies it a little bit because we're maintaining our AC and our cruise, so they're kind of hiding the pretty parts a little bit, but it'll shine through. It's okay. And we're gonna have a nice big air cleaner on there that'll draw the eye. So what else? What else are we doing? I got the sender wired. That's this blue wire here, and that's for the fans. Again, not looming anything up until I know that things are working the way they're supposed to. So we've got our vacuum lines plumbed in, and I'm just waiting to plug in the vacuum lines for the servo. And then, of course, once the servo bracket is there, I can figure out where to route the brake booster and the PCV. So I'm kind of waiting on that whole, once that goes in, I can kind of wrap up that project, and really then I'm done under the hood, except for, you know, charging the AC, filling it with coolant, checking for leaks, you know, because that's likely to happen. What else? Nothing. There's nothing but to turn off this light and I believe raise the truck up and start working on exhaust. Yeah. So I've got the whole kit, and I'll show you here in a minute I just had a part and piece delivered that I was missing last night. But as soon as I get this up in the air, I will show it to you. All right. Okay. All right, so these are the pipes on the floor that I've gotten. I've got the mufflers. We picked some Flowmasters, which I think sound really good. There are some other good ones too, but you know, this is kind of a good baseline. Last night I was removing the old hanger brackets from over here and over here, and the issue that I was running into, oh man, I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on, hold on. Okay. All right. That was a false alarm. No sneeze, I felt it. But anyway, so if we go up under here, oh, didn't quite raise it up enough. I'm having a slouch. All right, so if you notice, I'll get a light up in here in a minute, but we've got this pipe, which kind of goes over the cross member here, and then we've got the down pipe. Well, if you notice, like that's not going to match up. So what I ordered, and we may have to cut and paste a little bit, was 45s. So I think I can cut this and get it to work with that. So 45 there, and then on this side, ouch, also, you know, for 45 should be good. These here, oh, you can't really see very well. Here we go. They move a little bit, so I can kind of change the angle on them. So anyway, that definitely didn't raise the lift up enough. So anyway, I'm going to, it's just going to be some fiddle farting. So it's going to be fitting, test fitting, cutting, fitting, test fitting, cutting, tacking, fitting, test fitting, hanging, cutting, tacking, all the way from the front to the back. And it's probably going to take me most of the day. So I will spare you all of it, or maybe not. Do you have like a full cup of apple juice next to you? Do you have a full cup of coffee? Do you have a comfortable chair? Okay, well, we'll maybe speed this up a bit more than typical and see what happens. See if you can pick out the choice words that are happening while I'm doing it, you know? It'll be like a word puzzle hunt, except in fast forward. Anyway, all right, enough of that nonsense. It's not gonna get done if I don't do it. So here we go. Cue the music.
Dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a higher road to take it. Let go of everything that you know and be wild in the mystery. I've been in the darkness for 40 days. I've been searching for holy flames, a sign to light up the way. So can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been more certain of truth before. Called a righteous man before. Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? 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 Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told. So can you help me out? Can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or are you speaking now? Are you speaking now? Oh, I think I can feel you say, dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a high road you're taking. Let go of everything that you know and be wild in the mystery. Dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a high road you're taking. Let go of everything that you know and be wild in the mystery.
Okay, I'm just getting into it. Oh, it's ending. Thank you. Thank you. That was nice. Kind of get up and go music. I don't know. I'm thanking the music gods. I don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of weird. Okay. As you can see, now that you're awake, we've got the exhaust in. Hang on a second. So, now, I never said I was a welder, but I do know how to weld. And I can weld exhaust. It doesn't look pretty, but every time I do exhaust on a car, I get a little bit better. Yeah, and you can always grind some off. So, we're not going to take too close a look at these welds, but I've painted them. Two reasons. One, to keep them from rusting, but two, it'll help me see exhaust leaks better. So when we're shaking the truck down, driving it around next week, I can put it back on the lift and it'll show some witness areas where exhaust is leaking through my welds, because some places are really hard to reach. And then I'll be able to come back and kind of fill those holes. So there you go. So this exhaust system, you could tell, you kind of build it from the back forward. So what the directions in this particular Flowmaster kit said, they supplied you with hangers, and so you hung this piece here, and then you hung the mufflers, and then you assembled the H-pipe, and you worked your way all the way up to here. Now I had to buy these because they didn't come in the kit, and I had to weld them on the bench to the collectors here. I actually cut and welded this twice because I had to shorten it up a lot more than I thought. And I had already cut off some on this end, you know, because it clears this and then all the parking brake stuff. And so I ended up welding it back on this end to get the length I needed and stuff like that. So it turned out pretty well. The key with exhaust is get it exactly where you want it and then weld or clamp. Like, in other words, get all of it exactly how you want it, except maybe the tailpipes. But everything has got to line up, be level, exactly where you want before you. It's nice if you can tack weld it because then it'll stay. Sometimes when you're clamping, it kind of moves a little bit. Where if you put some tacks in there, even if you're going to clamp it, if you're not a good welder, but you can tack weld, it'll keep it from moving. So yeah, that way you make sure visually and all your clearances are right and it doesn't move when you start bolting collectors up and things like that. So you just kind of, that's how you do it. Anyway, so we have a question in need of an answer, and I'm waiting on the customer to tell me. I have an opinion. Sorry, sound guy. Apologize. Take two. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, waiting on the customer to decide. I have my opinion, but I can't let that, it's not my truck. So this is the question. So we've got the tailpipes. The kit gives us two options. This is one of them. I can actually tuck this up a little more. I was working on clearance under the bumper. If we put a tip on here that kind of flares out just so that it tucks up real nice. But this is just tacked on right now. So I've asked him, do you like this? Is this what you want? You know, coming out the back, you know, couple pipes over here and here. Or do you want to go the sleeper look? You know, you've got just a regular tailpipe coming out the side of the truck, you know, and nobody really knows that you have a built 350 under the hood. You know, it's 2.5-inch exhaust, so it is bigger, has a great sound with the crossover and the Flowmasters, but just sitting in the parking lot, it looks pretty stock. So my preference, sorry again, is the stock look, the sleeper look. That makes me happy with this truck. It's what it's asking for. However, it's not my truck. So if the owner decides, hey, I want a polished tip on the end, I want them coming out the back, I'll do it for them. So I'm just waiting on that and still waiting on the servo for the cruise control. That's the holdup right now, because all of the throttle linkage and everything attaches to this bracket that the servo's on. Now you might ask me, go ahead, ask the question. Yep. Okay, so what I hear you saying is, why don't you just put the bracket on, hook all of the throttle linkage up, then you can test the motor, you can do all of that stuff. Well, this is why. Great question. But the servo's held on by these little tiny fasteners, and when this is in the truck, these little tiny fasteners are like this far from the firewall, and trying to reach in and put those in and attach this, almost impossible for these fat fingers. Whereas this is slotted, it slots over the bolt. I bolt it down with that, it's in. Super easy. So I'm saving myself labor by waiting. It's supposed to be here today. It might be tomorrow, which for me is the weekend, which is fine. I'll put it in, it won't take me very long, but that's the plan. So anyway, we're gonna wait on a decision from the owner here. Hopefully it comes in the next few minutes if he sees the video I sent him. And then we'll finish up the exhaust, more or less. Well, if it's the sleeper way, we'll finish it up. If it's the other way, we have to then decide on tips. What tips do we want? Wait for those to come in and all that stuff. So, but that's not going to hold us up as far as testing the truck. And I've got to charge the AC, but the engine needs to be running and everything needs to be happy to do that. So that's the updates. That is the updates. hang out while we wait on a decision. And, you know, that's it. That's what we got. I can't make things go faster than they are. But before this week is out, we're going to hear this thing fire up. So, and then you'll discover what decision that was made on all of that stuff. So I'll be right back. Hopefully, we'll get to hear this thing fire up. All right, I got updates. I know, absolutely zero time has went by. Just a little blur happened, and then bam, here we are. I did some work over the weekend while you weren't here. Sorry, I ain't got time to wait around, okay? Sometimes I gotta get this truck on the road. We've gotta move on. But we want to make sure that we spend all of the time necessary. So, yeah, I just worked on it while you weren't here. Hey, guess what? Still waiting on the servo for the cruise control. Okay, so in that blur that just happened, that's like 3 days, okay? I don't remember what I told you the last time, but let me tell you, okay? I'm going on a rant, okay? This is a rant time. Okay, fast forward if you don't want rant time. Otherwise, buckle up. I am going to stop having things shipped USPS, okay? It's stupid. It's dumb. It's also stupid and dumb. And this is a guy whose grandfather and father both worked for the United States Postal Service. Of course, that was back before there were other options. That was back before all the other options. There's a lot of options right now of companies that care about customer service because it affects their bottom line, and there's competition out there, and they're not, funded by my tax dollars, okay? Sorry if I triggered you, but it's the truth. So I'm gonna have to start messaging people on eBay. Hey, I'll pay extra, send it, whatever, FedEx, UPS, whatever. I've been tracking my new used servo. I'm here in Minnesota, and it was coming from Missouri. And I watched it via the tracking number, and it made its way up to the main hub here nearby me 4 days ago. And I was like, sweet, it'll be here. I checked it over the weekend. It was in Arizona. What? First of all, part of me wasn't surprised at all. Second of all, the other part of me kind of didn't believe it. So it came here, and then it went on the other side of the country. Hey, let's just send it to Arizona. We'll just go on a joyride with your package. And, because definitely we're caring for it, it's not going to be damaged when it gets here because, we just love your package so much. We just needed to take it around the country with us. And then this morning I checked it. It's back up in Kansas. I guess it's coming home. I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe it's going back to where the sender lives. I don't know. I'm done with the Postal Service. Sorry, they're stupid, okay? They don't care enough. All right, rant over. So I woke up yesterday and just had this brain storm, whatever. I can't always tell the difference between a brain fart and a brain storm, but it was one of those things. And I have the original servo that I took off the truck, but I had broken a nipple off for one of the vacuum lines, because, you know, over the years, the heat from the engine kind of bakes that plastic. It gets very brittle. It's common. Well, of course, I lost the nipple. It was stuck in the hose. The hose got thrown away. Don't know what happened to it. So I was like, well, I'll source another one, you know. But I woke up and I thought, I wonder if I can just drill that out, broken, you know, nipple where it's, you know, flush, drill it out a little bit and epoxy a new nipple on there, because I've got like a bin full of, you know, unions that I could snip off, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before. So over the weekend, I also did that. I don't know if it's gonna work, because basically where this nipple goes in, and it's all JB welded in there, it takes a turn this way and connects with this one, and I tried to slot it out and make sure it was clear anyway. Not 100% it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna put this on, since, you know, the new servos in Kansas, it's not doing me any good. I need this bracket for all of the throttle stuff. Let's just put this on, hook it up, and we'll test it out and see if it works eventually. Don't need cruise control right now to test the truck out. So yeah, it seems pretty good, like it. And so I'm working on the air conditioning. I drew down, tried to pull a vacuum on the system, and it wasn't doing it as quickly as I like. So the only two things that I took apart was right here, that goes into the condenser, and I put a new O-ring on that and oiled it. And then the back of the compressor here has two kind of larger gaskets seals. I did not replace those. I just oiled them up and closed it. So this is my suspected area, because the system was holding pressure before. Over there, I feel confident that it's not leaking. So I ordered a couple new seals. When they come in, I'll put those on and I'll try to draw it down again. But I can do that later once I get all of this put together. I've also put in like 3 gallons of coolant, fixed a leak. The bottom hose wasn't tight enough. It was like cocked a little bit sideways and it was leaking. So fixed that. So we're gonna put that back together and then crank up the truck. Oh, actually, no. We're gonna put that together and also hook up the battery, smell for smoke, and then test some of these extra leads I have to see if any of those are 12-volt switched, because I need to get these fans. This, see, it's not the blue wire. Oh, it's the white wire over there. I need to hook to a 12-volt switched somewhere to get these fans to turn on. So those are kind of the things I'm gonna be jumping around on. I'll probably just disconnect all of my AC vacuum stuff, because I can do that later. Main thing is, let's get this truck going. Also, I'm gonna show you this from afar, because my welding is not great, but I did get the exhaust tips on there. Can you see that? He decided he wanted out the back. So that's what we've gotten. We've got out the back. I've got a little more welding to do. I left the welding kind of rough. I'll grind some of it down to make it look nice. But basically it's up, it's in, I can run the truck, exhaust will go out the back, and then I'll be able to check for leaks and fix the leaks, and then I'll neaten it up later. Moment of truth. I have not tried to crank it. I did put the air cleaner on because I needed to adjust or cut off the bolt that runs down through the lid. Also, you can't see it now, but you can see it before. I ordered, well, it's a purple filter. I don't love it. I don't love it. So I ordered a black filter, which I think will look a lot better with the polished stuff and not clash with the orange block. And you know, it's all about looking good. So I've got the 12-volt switch wired to the fans. So the plan here is to crank it up, get fuel to the carburetor, hear it start. I've got power going to everything. And then I am going to, assuming it starts and idles and nothing, it doesn't pour juices out everywhere, something really weird, I'm going to back it off the lift till I can get the rear end outside, and then I'm going to let it just idle and warm up, and I'll add coolant, get the coolant filled up, see if the fans kick on, just do all that stuff. So, but I just wanted you here for the startup, if it starts, and then if it does, I'll get busy doing the other stuff, and hopefully after that we can take it for a drive. This is an optimistic thing, but I'll have a few things to button up, loom these wires, charge the AC system with the new seals, you know, figure out whatever I notice that's wrong once it's running, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll cross that moat when we get to it. So, all right, I guess enough stalling. I've had the battery hooked up for a while. There's no smoke, there's no telltale signs. So let's see how this thing sounds, see what the noise it makes. Let's see what I'm going to do. I'll leave that in there for now. We'll leave this unplugged. All right. All right, let's try. See what we got. See what's happening. Butterflies, got butterflies. Okay. Whoa, all right. All right, so it sounds like even when I'm cranking it, I have got to re-shim the, it was wanting to start, but the starter was hanging up. So I thought I had it shimmed right, and I'm gonna lift it up and see. So it did start, but I had to turn it off right away because the starter's hanging up, and I think it's the tolerance is too tight on it. So I'm gonna, hopefully we didn't eat anything. It's not unhappy in that way, but we'll see when we get it up in the air. So let me work on that, adjust it, and then we'll come back and we'll try it again. Okay, so the let's back this out of the shop real quick. I'm gonna just take a little spin. So far it's not overheating, it's not doing anything. We just want to, you know, give it a little go down the road to see how it feels. All right, sounds good. Shift's good. Yeah, it hasn't overheated. The fans have kicked on. The oil pressure's off the charts. It's charging. I have some exhaust leaks. Makes sense. Just kind of see how it is under power. Make sure I don't have any you know, vacuum leaks, things like that. This definitely has a lot more power than before. We're not going to do any hard runs in it. We're just going to kind of see how it goes. It sounds like or feels like the throttle's a little hesitant. Kind of like it was in the 305. Trying to think. It's just not acting quite right in the transmission, so I may not have the linkage hooked up just right. It's always a nerve-wracking part for me, you know. Put it together. Is it gonna work? What did I forget? It shifts down in a second really fast. Okay. Yeah, let me do a little bit of digging. Feels like transmission isn't quite sure what the engine is doing. At slow speeds, fine. Runs up. Shifts in a second really fast though. We're gonna see. Gotta do a little tuning. If you know what I'm talking about. Well, I hate to leave it at that, but we're out of time. Sometimes you run out of time. So, we did get to hear the truck run, which was amazing. I love it. I've got some exhaust leaks, which I knew I would have, so I will track those down. I should be able to see where they're leaking on the pipe. So I'll have to figure that out. It's not a big deal. The transmission issue, I double checked the TV cable for the 700R4 transmission, and it's a little bit loose when the throttle's closed. It needs to be tighter. So I've got a bracket coming that should fix my orientation and solve that. Otherwise, I'll end up clipping the cable and re-crimping it, further back so that I've got enough tension on it for shifting. It's just shifting too soon. I need it to shift closer to like 20 miles an hour, and it's shifting at like 10. So, which is messing everything up. Did a little bit of carburetor adjustment, and I just put a hose that I had on the brake booster, but because I didn't have the right size vacuum hose, I've got one of those coming too. Just some stuff like that. Still have to charge the AC, but that's it for this week. I don't have any more time. I'm up against it. So very, very satisfying to hear an engine run. You might be able to tell I'm a little bit stressed because I'm listening for everything, and I just want it to be good. But as long as it's got oil pressure, it's not overheating, the fans are kicking on, yeah, it's all good. It's just a little bit of buttoning up work to do. So next week we won't be working on, I have a fly in the shop, must be spring. Must be working on, oh, sorry. I got off track. Let me take another sip of coffee. Or whatever it is. Okay. Next week we'll not be working on Dale. Dale's going to be with me for another week or two, just to sort him out. I'll be doing some driving with him and stuff, and I'll take you in on that. We'll go for rides together. We still have to do a back-to-back comparison once he's all sorted out of the 350 versus the 305. We'll do that at another time. Promise we'll get that done before he leaves the shop for good. But next week is the Roadrunner. Okay, that sigh was not because I'm not looking forward to the Roadrunner. It's always fun to get on another project. Yeah, we're just putting another engine in. I say just. We've also got to put the rear end in, got to put an engine in, new radiator, fans, all the good stuff, and we'll get to hear that beast run. That'll be fun, but just come back next week if you want. And I doubt we'll get him running next week, but who knows what will end up happening. If you want to know how linkage goes together on a 4-speed transmission, if you want to know how it all fits and goes in, if you want to see a frustrated man throwing tools. I mean, I don't know, whatever, or maybe just drinking coffee. Come back next time. I'm super glad you chose to hang out with me this week once again, and I appreciate all of you. Every single one of you just spending time with me here and giving me a chance to show what I'm doing and share with you the joys and struggles of working on classic cars. And you know what? I wouldn't be doing anything else. So hopefully we'll see you next week.